Alright, all you fans of board games and TTRPGs, what's some player behavior that you really can't stand? They take everything personally. Of course, I'm getting attacked again. Dude, you're playing a tank and aggroed the boss enemy 5 feet in front of you. Yeah, you're getting attacked. Okay, roll a diplomacy check.
I got an 8.
Remembering they have a large bonus in that skill. Is that your total or just what you rolled?
I rolled an 8. My total is 19.
For the 1000th time, I always need the total. Now, it doesn't irritate me too much. It's just wild that I still need to have that little back and forth. Usually more than once per session, even after years of playing with these people. Well, my honest vote, and believe it or not, I've had this happen many times with multiple players over the years, is when a player guards certain information and doesn't reveal it to anyone, including the DM, to try and orchestrate their own defining character moment. I'm not against people making their own defining moments, but I really wish these guys would have cleared some of the stuff they've tried doing with me before attempting it. And when you tell them,
it's not possible, doesn't work that way, violates another player, or torpedoes the plot,
well, they get angry and say you are trampling on their player agency. Oh, by the way, Jerry, if you're on here reading this or on MrRipper hearing this, you needed to tell me, your DM, you were playing a half-fiend during character creation. You can't just suddenly reveal that in the middle of a campaign. Yeah, Jeremy, everybody in the comments below, tell Jeremy that this is all his fault. Players who want all the loot, even loot that is obviously more impactful for other characters in the party. Consistently missing sessions at the last minute. It's so annoying. Yeah, things come up, we get that, when we all have responsibilities, but we agreed on a time. If you're missing that time over and over, at some point, you're not respecting your fellow players' time. If you don't have the time or interest to commit to the table anymore, it's okay to say so. But to keep saying you'll show up and then not is inconsiderate. Never learning their sheet. It's the one thing you're supposed to do. It's all any DM asks. Rolling a check before I tell them to roll. Players who are so cautious they feel the need to overplan for every encounter and waste time evaluating the possible risks of following my plot hooks. Not learning the rules or even their PC's own abilities. I've spent hundreds of pounds on books and materials. I'm giving up free time and spending 2 to 3 hours of prep for every hour of actual play at the table. It shouldn't be a showstopper to learn what's on your fucking character sheet. People who cannot be silent for a second when something important happens and always try to land the joke, especially when it's another player's moment. I love to laugh, and I'm far from being the last to joke, but as a DM, sometimes I need to create serious vibes, and it's too easy to ruin it. It creates that Marvel Disney feel. Every tension dissipates because there's always a gag. I know it's hard to draw a line, so on my DM screen, I use a red card. When I draw the card, people need to focus solely on roleplay because something important is happening, and I don't want it disturbed. Players who want to be the main protagonist all the time, every time it must include them. They always want to speak up and be the hero. It gets annoying when the others can't participate properly. Ignoring the tone of the game and bringing silliness and jokes when everyone else at the table is clearly striving for a serious game. Well, in Baldur's Gate 3... Okay, cool. This ain't Baldur's Gate 3. Going overboard to have a better reward, like asking for more money when they already have plenty. Haggling makes me really uncomfortable in real life, and I've found that I feel the same in-game. using phones at the table for YouTube or other games while we play. I've seriously packed up and left before because of this. Treating NPCs and the world around them like ants that they can destroy. I have this cool NPC with lots of info and could be interesting.
Okay, we KO them, and I'm gonna shit on their face because I don't trust them.
And they're supposed to be good neutral characters. Well, maybe he has IBS, I don't know. 12. Okay, fail. Oh, wait, I forgot to add. 17. Okay, pass. I don't give a f*** when your die says, "Give me the final total." And it's even worse when I start describing the consequences of failure, only to suddenly need to rewind. Just tell us the total right in the beginning, pal. Trying to outwit or trick the DM. Don't go on a long string of questions about the measurements of all the rocks nearby. Just tell me what you want to do. Don't try to gaslight me into thinking the magic item that I designed for you should do something outside the clearly written description. Out-of-game conversations that go on for more than a couple of minutes, especially ones involving real-world politics. Players who feel the need to compare everything to other media.
Oh, that character reminds me of...
This story feels like another one I read.
That speech sounds just like...
Like, listen, for fuck's sake, I'm doing my best to be original here. Sure, everything worth doing has been done already, but please, buy the 9. Just enjoy something for what it is for one goddamn session. Being taken aback or saying rude when an enemy targets them for an attack. You're on the combat map. You're a valid target. What's worse is when that player has gone out of their way to separate themselves from the party, physically on the map, and rushes straight for the objective, which makes them the biggest threat to tactically minded enemies and an easy target to isolate and defeat in detail. It always feels, as the GM, like they're saying,
"You have the audacity to threaten or impede my character? Well, screw you, DM!"
Not talking much and just generally not engaging. See, I completely understand if you're anxious or shy or whatever, but if I have to coax you, especially at every opportunity, every scene, every minute of the game, and you keep fighting me, helping you be incorporated in the game. I have played with a lot of newbies, and I particularly love hosting a session for complete noobs, but some people just don't want to engage. While in combat, going round in initiative order and getting to that one guy who, A, needs more time to think about what they're going to do, and, quite often, B, has no idea what they can do. Learn your character abilities and have an action ready, for heaven's sake. These types of posts are quite interesting from a player's point of view. I had a bad habit of assuming a no on a bad roll and read something similar to your post some time ago. Well, I changed it up, where even if I'm pretty sure it's a no, I'll say the number, sometimes with added flair, but it was a valuable lesson. I think my DMs appreciate it too. Dice coverers. Even DMs, barring hidden rolls if you are doing something like trying to avoid metagaming by rolling a perception check for the party, if you are rolling to hit and you cover your dice, I will always assume you are cheating. Players who pay absolutely zero attention and then, when it gets to their turn, ask what is going on. I don't need people to stare mindlessly at the table while others take their turn. I don't even care if they are scrolling on their phone, but at least pay enough attention to have some frickin' idea of what you will do on your turn. It's your character. They have the same actions available to them that they've had your entire level. So why are you waiting until your turn to check and see what upcasting magic missile does? Players who choose to play intentionally weak or unhelpful characters and get mad at the party members who don't. 2 examples come to mind. a true neutral elf I played with once, and only once, who kept trying to keep us in the tavern instead of going on the obvious DM quest, because I am true neutral, so what does it matter? Well, they got angry and felt like we were forcing them to play differently when we left without them. The other was a druid who would always wild shape into bugs and hide during combat due to a vow of peace. Well, she got mad at all the party members who actually rolled for damage, calling them power gamers who wouldn't know roleplay if it bit them. For the record, I'm fine with either of those characters, but it becomes a problem when the player takes it out on other players. Players who are so emo that they can't ever fail a roll. Oh, you made your save again for the 20th time in a row, and you had an 80% chance to fail at it every time. Oh, why, that is some luck you have. Oh. Horny bard, klepto rogue, stupid paladin, and pyro wizard are some of the archetypes I hate to see. Oh, then there's, well, I know this because I'm an X. Every 5 minutes. Disruptive behavior, targeting other players, then claiming, but it's what my character would do. Not learning their stuff. I've had to tell players before that I'm not going to remind them how haste, sneak attack, bonus actions, etc. work anymore. And if that they don't know on their turn, then they can't do it. Unless you're both brand new and joining a higher level game, then you get about a month per feature. Rolling for something without permission. Not learning the rules. Now, I have no problem teaching the rules or looking up less common ones, that's no big deal, but for the love of Gygax, all you do is roll a die and add a number. It's not that hard! Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, let us know in the comments below, what is that player behavior that you can't really stand? And if you'd like to help us keep the heat running this autumn and winter, as well as the lights on, make sure to join our membership program. You can get some early access to videos and possibly some outtakes. We love you all. See you next time. Toodaloo.